Hello everyone, welcome to your fifth Adobe Illustrator tutorial. And I know it's been a while and these are very highly requested tutorials, but no one's been suggesting things, so it's taken a little bit longer to think of something to teach you. Today's tutorial is going over something called the image trace tool, which can be used to turn your bitmap images into vector graphics as well as just create awesome looks. I have three examples I'm going to go over. This is an example from an actual video. Here's an example from a picture. And here's an example, a very artistic example. So this was originally a frame from a video. This isn't the exact frame, but you can see it's very cartoonish and has just a look that you can make into a cartoonish video, just by rendering each of the frames out. And this picture is a little hard to see from a distance, but there is indeed a difference. If you can see, if you look in the windows, there's a major difference, but altogether, this is basically cartoonized as well, but in a much more beautiful, simplistic looking version. You can see how nice these plants look, how nice the snow looks. Humans aren't the best thing to turn into art, or into like drawings, but it's a very nice touch. And finally, the last example, which originally looked like this. Now obviously we lost a lot of detail in this method we did, but we also created a very interesting artistic look that would make a really good, say, profile picture or logo type treatment or things like that. So once again, we're going to be using the image trace tool, and let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and close all these. We don't need to save them. What is that? So the first one we're going to do is just an intro to the tool, and that is, we'll just pick a frame. I rendered out this video as frames, so we'll just take a random one here and drop it in. And it's kind of blurry, but actually this auto trace, or the live trace, will make it a lot better, most likely. You can see there's water splashing and it's blurred and just not cool looking. So how do we use this tool? Well, what we do is we click on our picture, we go to Object, Image Trace, and Make. I may have called it Live Trace on accident. That's because I get Live Paint and Image Trace confused. Now immediately like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You said this was the introduction, and this looks absolutely nothing like this. This is just some nasty black and white photo. Well, if we go up here and click this image trace panel, which is also available in Window and Image Trace, these are all of our options to mess with. Advanced really doesn't make much of a difference, so pretty much just ignore that. And there's a few things I want to go over first. You see, there's two colors we have. Well, that's because we're dealing in black and white at the moment, and there's only going to be black and white, which are technically shades, but they're considered colors here. Anchors, this is how many anchor points were created, basically how many vertices were traced, and paths are how many lines there are, basically. So if we go to outlines here, you can see this is what's traced, and you can see we can do trace and result with outlines. This is all the things that have been traced, so it's not very pretty, but we can change that. We have 6 main options up here. We have auto color, high color, low color, grayscale, black and white, and outline. Now we're currently on black and white, and grayscale is not much different. Grayscale just adds some more shades basically, so it's a little bit detailed, but it's more like not silhouetted. This is a silhouetted type thing. When you change anything, it has to load up all this stuff. Once it's done with the curve fitting, there you go. There's all your grayscale, and it's choose 50 shades of gray. Huh. 50 shades of gray. Just, yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so you might be wondering how to do your cartoon look. All I do for that is click low color, which you can see now it's gonna make 16 different colors, and that's how many colors are going to be on here. So once it's done doing all this, and once the curve fitting's done is when it finally finishes, and boom, we have the result basically. And it doesn't look super pretty just because this video is low res, and it needs to be high resolution to get more detail, but it's a good introduction to it. We can also reduce the amount of colors. So let's say we put in 7 colors. Click away. And now you can see it's a lot less detailed. So the higher the colors, the better. 25 will probably work really nice to make this look cartoonish. And yeah, that should do the job. You're going to get a lot of unresponsiveness when you use this because it uses a lot of your memory. So just give it a second. There we go. So our next example is going to be a more detailed yet simplistic and subtle cartoonish effect, which is this picture. Now, one thing I would like to note is the higher the lighting, or I guess you could say the brighter it is, sometimes the better and easier it is to get a good looking shot. This is a pretty dark scene, so there's not a lot of detail preserved. So this has very nice lighting. It has a very high dynamic range and contrast. So we're going to get more results here. So let's go ahead and try auto color. See what that does. This one's going to take a little bit longer because it's a larger image. But once again, the higher the quality of the image, the higher quality of image trace we will get. So we're just, as you can see, it's taking a lot longer. But this is also a much better picture, and it will make a much better result. This is actually a pretty big picture. How big is it? It's okay, it's reduced a little bit, but it's 2000 by 1330, which is pretty large. And see, we get unresponsiveness. We just basically have to wait for live trace to or image trace to finish. And you can see it's very slow with this big image, and all those other images I've been using are a lot smaller. So there we go. We have our instant artifact. And my favorite spot in this is just these two plants here. These look really nice. I really like the look of basically the ground in this picture. And just to show something here, here's all the outlines. This is why it took so long. It was outlining every single shaded part of this image, which is crazy. It makes some crazy results. I kind of look like Brock from Pokemon yeah. Okay, so that's really the simplest it gets. I mean, you can see we still have a ton of colors here, but if let's say we increase it, let's go to, I don't know, 70. Let's hope this doesn't take, forever, because it's a huge image. It looks like it's going a little bit faster, so not to worry. Just some observations in this. You can see that, again, humans are not the best looking. At least our faces are not the best looking when we live trace or image trace. But everything else, like my sweatshirt, my pants, and everything else looks really nice, which I really like about image tracing. This is probably the coolest picture I've ever made in Illustrator, better than that rocket ship or whatever I made in episode 2. So just to let you know, here's my new favorite. But the rocket ship's a classic. Okay, so the curve fitting is finishing up, and once that's done, our image will be ready. There we go. You can see it's not really a change, but one cool feature about image trace is if we hold down this eye, we can toggle between the original and the afterward. If you ask me, the afterward looks better. I look better. Everything else looks better. So just saying. It basically blurs out all the detail in the scene, which gives it that cartoon look. Okay, so now for our final picture, which, like I said, is a very stylized picture. But that's okay. We like stylized. This is Illustrator. So, obviously the first step, apply image trace. What are we going to use this time? Let's try low color. See how that does. It's going to load a little bit faster than the previous picture as well. Okay, so instantly you kind of see it. It kind of looks like the example I gave, but why doesn't it look like the other example I gave? Well, simply, all I did was reduce the colors. I'm not sure the exact number I used. I'm not going to recall what they were, but it was below 10, I think. And what that forces is it forces the more common colors to replace the less common, aka blue replacing different shades of blue and things like that. Now my mouth disappeared, so I'm thinking I need to use less colors. Oh, that's not definitely less. Let's try that. 5 colors. Although it says 7 colors, I think this is basically the palettes it uses. There we go, my mouth disappeared. And now as you can see, the highlight part of my leg is now blue. That's because it has eliminated white from the scene. This block that was white is no longer white. This logo on my shirt that is white is no longer white. Basically, the less colors you have, the more placing that goes on, and thus the more artistic look you can get. So if we mess around with the colors, we can get very different results. Once again, if we go back and forth between the original, that is a massive difference. I mean, the only thing that basically stays the same is the water, but even the water loses a lot of tint. It goes from some purplish colors to a lot less. And you can see all the white objects turn to blue, even mostly the highlights. So, thank you guys for watching this fifth Adobe Illustrator tutorial. If you have any requests, please put them in the description. I know this series is very sought after, and people are always asking for more, so I need your guys' help of what you want to accomplish in Illustrator. And once again, 50 Shades of Grey, here we come. What do I look like in 50 Shades of Grey? Am I amazing? Or what? Only time will tell. 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey. Beautiful.